Part 3. Using the Creator Mindset. The success of implementing the Creator Mindset relies on detailed principles that we will discuss in the following chapters. Some principles may initially feel counterintuitive, yet each is a tool that must be mastered to achieve creative success.
Chapter 8. Creativity's Unlikely Personality Traits. When I was a kid, I worked for a coffee delivery service in Hollywood. On the surface, this may seem like a glamorous job, but like most jobs that seem glamorous, it was anything but. Sure, there were trips to movie sets and television stages, and I got to meet a celebrity or two on one of the coffee and donut drop-offs, but by and large, it was non-glamorous delivery service work. There were the early morning for starters, including the 4 a.m. donut pickups so they would be fresh for the 6 a.m. drop-offs. There was the endless washing of coffee pots with scouring pads and soap. It took me almost 10 years to like coffee again. The smell of those coffee pots would drive anyone to become a tea lover. The silver lining was the fact that I had a great boss, a man named Jeff Cheen. Great bosses make you stick around no matter how unglamorous or hard the work is. On top of being a great boss, Jeff would give me fly-by quips, insights into the human condition. Cheenisms, he called them. There were quips such as, "The work you do is a service to others." I thought we were making coffee for a bunch of spoiled Hollywood people, but he made sure that the work we did was seen as a service to others. Jeff had other quips too, such as, "Tuck in your shirt and comb your hair. No one wants to buy anything from a bum." He was largely right in those quick teachings. It was almost like a real-world business education executed in 5-second snippets. Jeff's knowledge was profound, and it helped me realize that there are 3 attributes of our personalities that are essential compared with all the others in overcoming problems creatively. Number 1, humor. Number 2, empathy. And number 3, courage. These 3 personality traits are built into each and every one of us. Once we realize that, we must begin to use all 3 together and in combination to make sure that creativity can take hold and generate innovation in everything we do. These are the elements I've found that spark creativity time and time again. Why? Because they inspire creativity and lead you to more innovation, wealth, and growth. Pretty awesome, isn't it? We have to start learning how to use them for creativity. How do we do that? First, by taking a bit of time to look at each one of these attributes on its own. Creativity's unlikely personality traits. Humor. Many people believe that humor is not the stuff of serious, intellectual, studious, or successful types. But keeping yourself open to humor will make your effort in creativity all the more worthwhile because it offers an insight into the fallacy of thinking that we are in control of anything, which we are not. You see, humor represents a force that tells us, and others, that it is okay to fail. It's okay to be human. It's okay to get it wrong. The creator mindset depends on this permission to fail in order to get it right. Making mistakes is one of the key ingredients of innovation, as you will see in Chapter 11, where we look at 3M's Post-it notes and other stories of mistakes that turned into amazing products or services. Humor is also important because it allows us to relax a bit. It grants us permission to see the funny side of life. With humor, we can change the way we see problems in our businesses or our careers. Let's revisit our overloaded warehouse inventory problem from Chapter 7 as an example. If you're dealing with a situation in which you have too much inventory and nowhere for it to go, and you react with anger, you will eliminate just about all creative solutions to the problem. But if you look at it with humor, and perhaps say something like, "Hey look, we've got a lot of merch in here. maybe we should have the merch monster come and eat all this stuff up. You allow others to look at the situation a little more lightly and with humor. It might not be all that funny, but that's okay. We're simply using humor as a tool to cut loose a bit and spark a creative idea. After hearing that one silly remark, someone might say, "Actually, I've got an idea. What if we move the stuff to a storage place down the street called Monster Storage, which charges $1 for the first month? We can then discount the inventory within that month and move it." And so, a brilliant idea comes to life because you chose to look at the situation with humor. Humor ultimately allows you to find a creative solution because it works in subtle and disarming ways. It is indeed the stuff of the studious and serious because it creates opportunities to connect with the basic truth that we are not all that much in control all the time. And that's funny. Sometimes a bit of humor can go a long way toward humanizing problems and allowing creative solutions to unfold. On top of it all, humor makes us more fun to be around. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It makes us relatable. It makes us likable. It makes us connect with others. We spend so much of our time dedicating ourselves to our work, but what we really remember is not the assignment we completed or the deadline we met. What we tend to remember is the people we work with, and one hopes their humor in tough situations. Empathy. Empathy is the second critical tool in creativity's unlikely personality traits, and it's one of my favorites because it is so versatile. Empathy comes in two forms when you look at it in the context of my process. Internal empathy is a result of looking at internal issues in your company or career with creativity. External empathy is a result of looking outside your company or career with creativity. Internal empathy. Internal empathy boils down to actually listening to your staff members and coworkers, listening to what is going on within your company so that you can relate. In the hallways, in the conference rooms, on the road trips, in meetings, really listening. Internal empathy is not what people say about your company or what your reputation is. Internal empathy is the inner workings of your relationships and connections inside the company. When looked at through the lens of the creator mindset, internal empathy ultimately boils down to understanding that business transactions are about the customers, not about you. Empathy for the customer's needs is the essence of creativity because it allows you to satisfy those needs with your product or service at just the time when the customers need it the most. Internal empathy is also the understanding that looking inside the company or your career and building meaningful relationships is a worthwhile goal. Why? Because in the rush to vilify an external concern, such as the fact that the market is hard for sales right now or the boss doesn't want to promote you, it flips the tables. It puts the burden of responsibility on you to try to figure out your own destiny. What can you be doing better? How can you work better with others? What one thing can you do today, internally, to make your path brighter? These questions will help you shine a light on the power you hold in your life, career, and business. My favorite case study of internal empathy involves a lawn care service company I did a keynote for a while back. They had a pretty sizable chunk of the market in a particular location, but not much work elsewhere. The excuses for that ran deep until one day someone on the staff got creative and took the initiative to come up with a creative idea about how to win new business. Internal empathy led coworkers to get excited about the idea. How? They started listening to one another, interacting, exploring together. Soon, this idea led to exponential growth, all because someone decided not to complain or blame others. Instead, the company pushed a creative idea forward and made its business more successful.